There are places in America you don't find on any map. Places locals don't talk about. Not because they've forgotten, but because remembering is dangerous. One of those places is Mirror Lake, Wisconsin. And the ritual tied to it is called the Mirror Lake Pact. They say if you follow all the rules, you'll glimpse what waits for you after death. But if you break a single one, you won't have to wait at all. It was the summer after high school. Me, Ryan, my best friend Megan, and the twins, Dylan and Drew. We were restless, bored, drinking in Ryan's garage when he brought it up. My cousin swears he saw the Mirror Lake ritual, he said. He says it's real, and that if you play it right, you'll never be the same. We laughed at him, until he pulled out an old, crumpled notebook. The pages were damp, smelled like mildew, and written inside were the rules. The Mirror Lake Pact. The notebook listed them one by one. You must go to Mirror Lake between midnight and 3 a.m. No flashlights, no phones, only candles. 4 players minimum, never more than 6. Walk to the water's edge in silence. Each player must place something personal on the shoreline, something you'd never want to lose. Light a candle for every player and set them in the water. Let them float. Once the candles are steady, all players must say together, "We offer ourselves to the reflection." Do not look away from the water, no matter what you see. If the water shows you something that isn't your reflection, do not speak to it. If a candle sinks, the player tied to it has been chosen. If chosen, you must walk into the water willingly. Never, ever run. At the bottom, smeared in something that looked darker than ink, was a final warning. The lake remembers. Once you play, it will find you again. It sounded fake, like Bloody Mary with extra steps. But that night, we drove to Mirror Lake. No streetlights, no houses. Just a long empty road ending in a patch of gravel and black trees. The lake was still, perfectly still, like a sheet of glass. We gathered at the shore. The air was damp, heavy, almost too thick to breathe. We set our belongings down. I dropped my silver necklace. Ryan left his old baseball cap. Megan placed a folded letter. The twins each set down their pocket knives. 5 items. 5 players. We lit 5 candles and pushed them gently onto the water. At first, it looked normal. The lake showed us 5 blurry shapes leaning over the black water. But then, the water rippled, even though the air was perfectly still, and the reflections began to change. Megan gasped, because in her reflection, she wasn't standing. She was floating, lifeless. Hair spread out like weeds, eyes wide open. Her candle flickered. Ryan whispered, "Don't look away. Remember the rules." We leaned closer. The reflections grew darker, distorted, like we weren't just looking at ourselves, but at versions of ourselves. My reflection tilted its head, though I hadn't moved. The lake went silent. Then one of the candles tipped. Megan's. We froze. Her face went pale. No. Number. The woods exploded with sound. Branches snapping. Leaves thrashing. Something crashing through the trees. We saw shadows moving everywhere at once, and then Megan's scream cut off, like someone pressed mute. When we turned back, the letter she'd placed on the shore was gone, and her reflection was still there, staring up at us from the lake. Even though she wasn't. Ryan cursed under his breath. We keep playing. We don't stop. We finish it, but his voice cracked, because another candle had started to sink. This time, it was Drew's. He didn't argue, didn't fight. He just stood, walked to the water, and stepped in. The lake swallowed him silently. No splash. No ripple. Like he'd been waiting his whole life to go back. When we looked again, only 4 reflections stared back. The ritual didn't stop there. We stayed until dawn. 2 candles still burned. Mine and Ryan's. Dylan's flickered out just before sunrise, and he was gone. The moment daylight touched the lake, the candles died. The rules said nothing about what came next. But when we left Mirror Lake, something left with us. Ryan won't talk about it, but I hear it every night. When my room is dark, when I can't sleep, the sound of water dripping. Closer, closer, and sometimes, in the black glass of my window, I see my reflection tilt its head, mouth open, whispering my name. Eli. The lake remembers, and it's coming for me soon.